was good. Such a relief. I'm so happy. You don't know.
But many New Yorkers aren't as fortunate. The city council is now suing the Adams administration to implement the law and unlock rental vouchers for people on the brink of eviction. Policymakers say they hope new state laws will also help build more low-income housing for people like Baird. David Brand, WNYC News.
WNYC is supported by American Jewish World Service, standing with human rights advocates worldwide this Passover in the fight for democracy, equity, and justice for all people. Learn more and support at ajws.org. WNYC is a media partner of An Evening with David Sedaris, coming to King's Theater, Brooklyn, May 16th for an evening featuring all news stories and observations. DavidSedarisOnTour.com.
It's 6:51 and later on Morning Edition. International and Israeli media report that the International Criminal Court is considering arrest warrants against leaders of Israel and Hamas. That's all while ceasefire and hostage release talks continue. We'll get the latest in about 15 minutes right here on WNYC. 64 and sunny out there now with a slim chance of late afternoon showers today and thunderstorms. We might have some patchy fog out there this morning. Otherwise, sunshine today and a hot one. Boy, a taste of summer. 84 for a high with a light wind. This is WNYC at 6:52.
It's a big week for the U.S. economy.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance. The Name Your Price tool provides a range of coverage options. Progressive.com. Price and coverage match limited by state law. And by Twilio Segment. Segment helps every team access good data that's real-time, clean, and accurate. The result is relevant customer experiences that drive real revenue. Segment.com.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. Right now, the Federal Reserve has its foot on the brake pedal of the U.S. economy, meaning interest rates are high and staying high, trying to slow things down to get inflation down to where the Fed wants it, around 2%. Unfortunately, over the past few months, inflation has been highly uncooperative. And so, as the Fed meets this week to decide what to do about it, the overwhelming assumption is that it's going to do nothing for now. Just keep that economic brake pedal steady. Keep rates where they are. The question is also, when will that change? There is a lot of economic data coming out this week that could influence the answer to that question. Marketplace's Nova Safo has the details.
Gone are predictions that interest rate cuts could start as early as March. Inflation has heated back up a bit, while the job market has remained healthy and the economy has maintained growth, albeit at a slower pace. So there's little doubt that the Federal Reserve is not yet ready to lower rates. In fact, some officials recently have speculated about no cuts at all this year. On Wednesday, when Fed officials release their latest policy decision, many will be looking for clues about the months ahead. So what could change? For one, how consumers view the economy. They power 70% of it, and consumer confidence has been dipping each month since January. If it keeps falling, spending could follow. The latest consumer confidence reading comes out tomorrow. The labor market is another factor. Job gains have increased each month this year, giving the Fed leeway to keep rates higher for longer. Initial jobless claims, a proxy for layoffs, suggest the labor market remains strong. Friday's monthly jobs report will tell us definitively. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
The U.S. dollar has been on a roll this year. Compared to our major trading partners, it's up about 5% this year. It recently hit a more than 30-year high against the Japanese yen, although the yen has rebounded some this morning. A strong dollar can have a lot of consequences, from making our exports more expensive around the world to potentially unsettling global markets. Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman reports.
What does a strong dollar mean?
Currencies are basically a measure of whose economy is doing better, and the U.S. economy is doing better than pretty much everyone else.
Jonas Golterman at Capital Economics says because the U.S. economy is strong, the Federal Reserve has kept interest rates high to fight inflation. And, says Joseph Gagnon at the Peterson Institute for International Economics,
when U.S. interest rates are high, it makes dollar assets attractive, especially bonds and bank deposits in the U.S. that pay interest,
which can hurt other economies, says Jonas Golterman.
It tends to pull a lot of other currencies down, not just the Asian currencies, but other emerging markets. And that can generate uncertainty and volatility.
Here in the U.S., a stronger dollar makes our exports more expensive for foreign buyers and may hurt domestic manufacturers. It makes imported goods cheaper so we can buy a bit more stuff. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all up in the 1 to 0.3% range, with the Dow futures up 47 points. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.632%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Bitwarden, the password manager used by millions that is committed to making digital lives less complicated with secure login across all accounts and across all devices. Available to download at bitwarden.com. And by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Thinkorswim. More at schwab.com. And by Rubrik. When cyber attacks put businesses at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast. More at Rubrik.com.
It would have been the largest copper mining company in the world. The BHP, a mining giant, offered to buy another giant, Anglo American, for $39 billion. Anglo American said, no thank you. Too low, not going to happen, at least not for that price. The deal still could go through, maybe for a higher price, but the reason it hasn't so far speaks to just how valuable copper is to the world's transition to green energy. Because as much as we hear about things like lithium, copper is in pretty much everything green energy related. There are, for example, an average of 183 pounds of copper in a given electric vehicle. Markets know this, and the price of copper is at a 2-year high. Anglo American knows it too, and isn't going to let itself be bought for cheap. Marketplace's Kaylee Wells has more.
Copper's a hot commodity because it's in cars and phones and power lines. It's also in solar panels and wind turbines, meaning it plays a major role in the renewable energy transition.
There's absolutely no doubt whatsoever that increased demand is going to be reflected in copper.
RJO Futures chief market strategist Eli Tesfaye wasn't surprised when he heard the mining company turn down a $39 billion offer.
If you anticipate a higher price action, it behooves you to kind of wait it out a little bit.
The jump in demand is likely here to stay. Copper will play a major part in meeting clean energy goals, says Barbara Arnold. She's a professor in the Department of Energy and Mineral Engineering at Penn State.
How many more wind turbines can we install? How many more solar farms can we install? Knowing that you also are going to have to, at some point, start having battery storage installed as well. And it's going to take a lot of copper.
The jump in price isn't just from an increase in demand for copper. It's because the supply hasn't been increasing along with it.
If there's going to be a shortage to meet demand, prices go up. That's Econ 1.
There are a few reasons supply isn't keeping up. One problem, the mines that already exist are producing lower and lower grade copper ore, making the process more expensive. The other, getting new mines up and running can take more than a decade. Blue Line Futures chief market strategist Philip Strebel says that process has been getting more complicated.
Due to increased regulations and safety and awareness of what's going on with the environment, mining, they're just becoming more efficient, things like that, which has resulted in less copper supply coming out there.
So copper demand is expected to stay high. The road to more copper supply is full of hurdles, and mining companies like Anglo American can wait for higher bidders. I'm Kaylee Wells for Marketplace.
And in New York, I'm Sabri Ben-Achour with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.